Welcome back, thriving beings. Today, we're diving deep into the topic to debunk myths and provide you with the facts you need. Stick around because we've got some eye-opening insights coming your way. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's get started. While you might know that vitamin B12 is vital for your health, did you know it's not produced by animals or plants? So where does it come from? Let's find out. Where does B12 come from? Alright, here's the lowdown. Vitamin B12 is not made by animals or plants, but rather by bacteria. Animals, including humans, get their B12 either directly or indirectly from these tiny bacteria. And believe it or not, some animal foods are loaded with B12 because throughout their lives, many animals accumulate B12 produced by bacteria. But how do the animals get their B12? And where are these bacteria hiding? It comes from sources like bacteria-laden manure and unsanitized water. Because animals accumulate this bacterial gem during their lives, they can be a source of B12. But there's a catch. The FDA has found that most meats are contaminated with fecal bacteria, which isn't exactly appetizing. In the past, plant foods used to be reliable sources of B12 thanks to soil bacteria. However, modern hygiene practices, antibiotics, and pesticides have changed the game and have made it much harder to get B12 naturally from the soil and plants. But don't fret, some plant-based options like mushrooms and seaweed still have a bit of B12. There are also fortified plant-based products such as fortified non-dairy milks, certain cereals, and more that can be excellent B12 sources. Interestingly, the crystalline form of B12 found in supplements and fortified foods is easier for our bodies to absorb compared to the protein-bound form found in animal foods. Who is at risk for B12 deficiency? Now, let's talk about who's at risk for B12 deficiency. Surprisingly, it's not just plant-based eaters. It's more widespread than you might think. Studies show that B12 deficiencies are common. For example, with around 40% of children and adults in Latin America having marginal or deficient levels. Even in the US, about 20% of folks over 60 are in the same boat. First up, we have people who follow a vegan lifestyle. Because a vegan diet does not include animal-sourced food products, vegans may face an increased risk of vitamin B12 deficiency. However, the good news is that not only is finding vegan sources of B12 super easy and affordable, but also, unless there are certain underlying medical issues, such as the ones we'll discuss in a minute, a healthy human body keeps stores of around 2 to 5 years worth of B12. That means even if you're not eating B12 regularly, it could take years to develop a vitamin B12 deficiency. So if you miss taking your supplement for one day, it's not exactly something to fret about. However, at the same time, you also don't want to wait years to start paying attention to your B12 levels, because once you become deficient, the symptoms can be quite debilitating, from some serious fatigue and muscle cramps to vision and mental impairments. The risk of B12 deficiency can become more significant during pregnancy and lactation, since the developing fetus can use up a lot of mother's B12 stores, making it even more crucial for expecting or nursing mothers to watch their B12 intake. Another group at risk is people with pernicious anemia. This is an autoimmune disease that affects the blood and can result in a lack of vitamin B12. The reason is that patients with this disorder don't have enough intrinsic factor, a protein in the stomach that allows the body to absorb vitamin B12. Moving on, people with certain gastrointestinal conditions can face higher risks. If you have issues with your small intestine, such as having it surgically shortened, that can put you at risk. Conditions like Crohn's disease, which often affects the part of the small intestine known as the terminal ileum, can also increase the risk of B12 deficiency due to reduced nutrient absorption. Gastritis, celiac disease, and inflammatory bowel disease, IBD, are other conditions that can lead to B12 deficiency. These conditions can reduce nutrient absorption, making it harder for your body to take in the B12 it needs. Now, here's something important. People who are heavy alcohol drinkers may also lack vitamin B12. Prolonged alcohol abuse can impact the body's ability to absorb nutrients efficiently. Lastly, if you have diabetes and are treated with metformin, you should have your B12 levels checked regularly by your healthcare professional. Metformin can reduce the absorption of vitamin B12, so it's essential to monitor your levels. It's not always about what you eat, it's about how your body absorbs B12. Factors like antacids, infections, and lifestyle choices can play a role. And if you find yourself in any of these at-risk groups, don't worry, there are solutions. Supplements and fortified foods can still get the job done. Best sources for B12. Now let's talk about the top sources for B12. We're starting from the bottom and working our way to the top. Number 1, animal foods. First up, we have animal foods like meat, dairy, and eggs. Sounds good, right? Well, not always. They contain protein-bound B12, which can be tricky for some to absorb, especially if you're lacking in gastric acid or stomach acid used to help digest these foods. Consuming these foods may also come with their own set of health concerns. Number 2, plant foods. Next up, we have plant foods. While there used to be more reliable sources due to soil bacteria, that's not the case anymore. However, certain mushrooms such as shiitake mushrooms and some seaweed such as nori still contain some B12. Number 3, fortified foods. And finally, we have fortified foods like cereals, plant-based milks, and nutritional yeast. These are excellent sources of B12 and often contain the crystalline form, making it easier for our bodies to absorb. Nutritional yeast in particular is a game changer. The crystalline form of B12 is not attached to a protein and doesn't even need gastric acid for the first stages of digestion, making it super easy for your body to absorb. Supplements. Now that we've explored some common food sources for vitamin B12, let's talk about supplements and injections. Some individuals, due to various reasons, may have difficulties absorbing enough B12 from their diet alone. Older adults, people with pernicious anemia, vegans, and anyone who struggles to get B12 from their diet should consider supplements, especially during pregnancy and while breastfeeding. These supplements can be found in health food stores and online. However, be cautious when selecting supplements and ensure they are purchased from reputable sources, since supplements are not FDA regulated. Doctors may also prescribe vitamin B12 injections for individuals with pernicious anemia or severe deficiency due to malabsorption issues. These injections typically contain synthetic form of vitamin B12, which is most often found in supplements and some fortified foods. The administration of these injections typically involves a healthcare professional injecting the B12 into a muscle every other day for 2 weeks, or until the individual's symptoms improve. Whether or not the treatment continues will depend on whether the deficiency is due to diet or if there are associated neurological problems. And there you have it, the truths about vitamin B12, where to find it, and who is at risk of deficiency. Remember, whether you're plant-based or eat meat, getting enough B12 is crucial for your health. If you believe you or someone you care about might be at risk, check out our other video to learn the signs and symptoms of vitamin B12 deficiency. And reach out to your healthcare provider for proper testing and the right treatment. If you found this video informative, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more myth-busting content, and share it with your friends and family. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll catch you in the next video. Stay health curious and stay healthy.